Hello there, YouTubes. This is Grimweird, coming back at you with more of my Enigmatica 2 Expert mod pack playthrough for Minecraft. So when last I left you, we had just set up a smeltery, and we promised to show you the small plate presser and the charcoal pit. So I think I'm going to start with the charcoal pit just because it takes quite a long time for the charcoal to cook. So the thing I needed to get for that was the flint and steel. So we've got flint and iron now to make the flint and steel. So we'll whip this up. And I've got here some wood piles just to show you how those are made. I cut down a bunch of redwoods next door in the forest, and basically you just take 4 logs and combine them into 1 log. So I made 144 of them. Actually, I started out with 124 of them, or 128 of them, but I decided that might as well make it around 144 and make my charcoal pit really big, 12 by 12. So that's going to be a ton of charcoal coming out of there. I didn't really have an open spot, 12 by 12, really handy. So I ran up over this hill to work on that. Hey, and my bees are done, so I'm going to collect those. Get another round going. If we have time at the end of this episode, we will go ahead and make our presser and start pressing that comb into wax and do I have my bed with me? Start pressing that comb into honey and wax. I usually carry a bed with me whenever I go anywhere. I noticed it's getting close to sunset, but I think I left it downstairs. Alrighty, so off we go. So I needed to find a little flat space to put my charcoal pit. So I decided to just go over here on the other side of the hill where things were a little bit more open. Throw down my bed and rest real quick. So I prepped the area. Yay, slime boots. I've got 2 of these oxeye rings here, which intrigue me. One there, and then one on this hillside. So I'm going to have to possibly dig down and see what's underneath them. But anyway, the charcoal pit function, it's a multi-block thing. Basically, you can use, I think, bricks or any other, or a number of different non-burnable blocks to encase the wood. But I'm just going to use dirt because that's nice and easy. I think you might also be able to make it like a pyramid shape out of it, but I'm not sure. I've just always done a rectangle. Usually if I've got, if I'm just, doing things small scale, I'll make like a little 3x3 or 3x4. But in this game, since I'm going to be needing to generate a lot of power, I think the charcoal is going to burn well in a number of the just combustion generators. So I might as well make a crap ton of it. So I'm going to put down my 12 by 12 block here of wood piles, and then I'm going to cover it in dirt. And then I'm going to, when I have it almost all covered by dirt, I'm going to light the last one with the flint and steel, and then we're going to let it burn for a couple of days game time. And when we come back, it will be filled with blocks that can be broken to make ash and charcoal. and jump cut. And we're back. So I now have my 12 by 12 sheet of wood pile covered with dirt, except for the last piece here. And we're going to go ahead and light it. And then before the piece burns up, we got to make sure we get dirt on it. So we light it and slap dirt on it. And now I have the game volume down, but you might be able to hear the crackling, the fire crackling. And you can see the smoke coming up from first just the one that we lit, and now it's starting to spread to smoke particles coming up off of more and more of the stack. So it's working. As we wait, we'll just watch that sort of spread out a bit. Yep, I think we're golden. So this does take quite a while. It's like 5 o'clock daytime. It might be, 5 o'clock daytime the next day, or, maybe even 2 days from now when this is all done. But when it is done, we will take off a piece of dirt and crack that open, and we will get a huge amount of charcoal out. And we're going to multiply the burn time, the fuel time of that, all of those logs substantially. And it's not like it's a small amount of logs. It was, a dozen stacks of logs combined into those log piles probably. Alright, so that is that. Probably at the end of this episode, we will jump to when those are finished, just so I can show you how that's going. But while they're cooking, let's move on to another thing. I talked to you about ore doubling. Since the smelter doesn't double ore automatically in this mod pack, we're going to make a manual way to do it called the small plate presser. It looks like a piston. And it's from Advanced Rocketry. So we went ahead and made one of these, and we've got one now. Flattening. And I'm also going to pull out one of these as part of it, just to have something to attach it to. And we're also going to need some obsidian, which reminds me, as I was digging around, we did find some lead ore, which completed this. I chose the 16 bronze ingots since I know we're going to need some bronze for starting out our forestry career. And we also found some osmium ore. And I wanted to be sure and talk about this one because I think this is an important choice. So alumite is, I think, a clear winner here. And the reason being, first of all, I don't need a fancy shovel. I'm just going to say that flat out. I don't need a fancy shovel. So I'm not going to make any of these into a shovel. What I am going to do with this Tinker's alumite shovel head is melt it down in my smeltery, because I actually quite want to use it on my other picks, my pick and my hammer. So if we take a look at the materials here, tool materials, which one's alumite? I can never find the damn thing. Okay, here it is. It has Global Traveler. So shift right click a block in order for items from broken blocks and killed entities to get transported in there if it is an inventory. So for instance, I have where is it? I have another one of those big crates around. So one thing I probably will do is throw this here. And once I put alumite on my pickaxe, I will shift right click on this inventory box, and then anything that I kill with my pickaxe, the loot will be transported straight to that and save me a lot of inventory messing and fussing. And I'll be able to get actually two. I think I can melt these for 2 ingots and get actually both a binding for, so we'll replace the slime binding with an alumite binding, and on my sword I will probably replace the flint wide guard with an alumite wide guard, so that so my monster kills will actually go there too. So one of the things we're going to need for the small plate presser to work is an obsidian block for it to crush things against. So we're going to go ahead and run over here. After I picked up the lava that I needed from this spot over here, I went ahead and dumped water on it to see how much obsidian we would get. But I haven't harvested it yet because I hadn't gotten osmium yet. And let's go ahead and sleep so we're not interrupted. So we're going to pick up a bunch of obsidian here. This is actually going to service a couple purposes. One is going to be to make the small plate presser, and 2 is going to be to make an obsidian sharpening for our pickaxe to get to yet another level. So for this, we're going to need the Obsidian Sharpening Kit. So let's see, we want to go ahead and try and vein mine. Oops, no, I need osmium. Oh, well, I'm going to have to make the Osmium Sharpening Kit first. I have some osmium now, so we will smelt that up and get that going. And let's actually jump cut. Okay, so one of the things we're going to need for our small plate presser is an obsidian base for it to flatten things and crush things against. And the reason I wandered over here was I was just about ready to run over to our distant lava supply to pick up some lava, and I thankfully remembered that in between this episode and last, I actually tracked down, where is it? I tracked down, I could tell from the map that there was some lava reasonably near to our base. So I went ahead and tracked it down and dug a passage to it. So we have some lava, a big lava source. In fact, there was some, it was interrupted by some gravel there, but you can see we got a nice big lake of lava not too far from our smelter and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and grab some lava. And I should have brought down a bucket of water. So I got to figure out where to put this. I think for now I'm just going to put it close to the smelter, and maybe right here. So I can't quite cut obsidian yet. I need to smelt some of the osmium that I picked up, and then turn that into a sharpening kit and sharpen my pickaxe to osmium harvest level, and then I will be able to go harvest a bunch of obsidian. But for right now, I did, between one of our episodes, make a little infinity pool right outside. So we got some water. Actually, just to save myself a trip, I'm going to go ahead and make bring 2 down with me and make an infinity pool down in our base. so that I don't have to run back up here again next time I need water down there. Alright. And I probably didn't bring any wood with me. Darn it. I need to start moving my supplies down here. So basically we're just going to quench that. And then that's going to form the base of the small plate presser. And then what I'm going to do is get down so I can point up. You can use pretty much any block or no block at all, if depending on how you do things. But I sort of like to just the match textures. So this is going to be the base, essentially almost like you would, like an anvil, if you will. This is where we're going to put a block of ore to crush. This is going to be the small plate presser, which is a piston. And then I'm going to go ahead and point it up at and mount it on there. And I use the compressed cobblestone just because it has the a similar texture. And then I'll repair the floor if I have any stone on me, which I do. And so there it is. This is the small plate presser. Oops. And so now all I need to do is get a button and put it on there to activate it. And so what you do is you put a button on there, put some more in between it, and smash it. So let's go do that. Sorry about all this running up and down, but you know how it is when you got a new base. You got to get all of your stuff situated. So I'll end up moving all of this down there. So we're going to need wood for a button. And we're going to need ore to crush. I want to get my Tinker's Construct stone moving forward, so I'll bring my aluminum. And I also have some osmium, and I need to get an osmium sharpening kit cast, so I will go ahead and do that. And I won't do the saw, because once I show you once, if you've never seen it before, you will pretty much be immediately bored, as I am. However, the importance of this when you're starting out is sort of nice, because it does take a while to get to things like a macerator. So that's where you end up putting your ore, and I'm just going to slap a button on there and hit the button. And there it is. We've turned it into 2 pulverized aluminum. And so then how I usually do this is I just stand real close so that I automatically suck up the dust. And I do this. And we are turning our 12 aluminum ore into 24 aluminum dust so that we can make a decent amount of aluminum brass casts. And there you have it. The small plate presser. We have ore doubling. Obviously it's very manual. Obviously we're going to make things like macerators and crushers and pulverizers that are going to automate all of this for us. But until we have those things unlocked and until we have the mats to build them, that's going to have to do. And I think I'll just go ahead and throw this all in there. Make sure my switches are off. And there we go. We are ready. So between episodes, I will also crush some osmium so that we can make a sharpening kit, and I will crush some copper to make the aluminum brass so that we can get moving on some casts. And what else? So we got a little path to our lake of lava. That's good. We got our smelter going. That's good. We got the small plate presser. Yeah, so we're doing good. We're getting somewhere. Basically, it's all about the cast now. I want to get this alumite shovel head melted down. Oh, that was the other thing I could do is I wanted to show you guys that I found some gold horse armor, and some of these recipes work and some don't, but if you mouse over it, hit U, and look here in the smelter, a gold horse armor will give 4 ingots of gold. I don't really have any use for the horse armor, and probably never would, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I'll do that later. Alright, so I'm going to jump cut right here, and we will come back when the charcoal is done, and we'll end up where we started off making charcoal. Be right back. Alright, I came back over here to check on our charcoal pit. We're definitely getting lots of smoke everywhere, but it is not done yet. It might take another day or so. But I thought while I was over here, maybe we should check out this oxide daisy ring. So rumor has it that if you dig around in the center here, you can find some emeralds or diamonds or something, and that this is some sort of fairy ring from quark. I'm not seeing anything really obvious here, so maybe it's down at bedrock or something. Yeah, maybe we'll come back when we're feeling more frisky and try digging down deeper. One of the things I can do, I've been ignoring them so far, but another thing we can check real quick here is we could start rating these. These are astral sorcery temples made out of astral sorcery marble blocks, and these little sized ones have a chest under one of the 4 columns, and in that chest you will find quite often diamonds, occasionally ender pearls, aquamarines for this mod, and then also constellation papers. And when you pick them up, you learn constellations for the astral sorcery thing. Now, if you're playing on a server, when you pick them up, it'll say Armara, and now it says Visio. This one says there's nothing, but when I pick it up, it changes to Evitus. Now, there's only 5 of these that you can learn off of these. Once you learn them, they all just basically still say there's nothing there. So if you're playing on a server with multiple people, you just want to pick up the first 5 you find, and then after that leave the rest for others. But since I'm playing individually, single player, we're just going to get it all out of there and steal this. So we've also got a sea lantern in the middle here. Probably when I get Silk Touch, I'll come back and take the sea lantern. And also when I have more storage, I'll just come back and take all this marble too, because I think what we need to do eventually is build big old structures of marble for our astral sorcery. So alright, let's take a look here. We are still burning. So I'm going to go ahead and take another jump cut, and we'll be back when this is absolutely ready to go. I just decided to show a brief interlude while we're waiting for our charcoal of me making some casts. So I did pound some aluminum into sand, and made some aluminum brass, and we are making all sorts of casts here. I went ahead and made another pattern chest just because I like the fact that I can just click on it and it puts it away for me. I know we have a chest right here that will probably never get full, but I just like that function. So we are making all sorts of stuff here. As soon as I make the Osmium Sharpening Kit, we'll be able to mine obsidian. And obsidian is a perfectly good head for a lot of the tools. So I'm probably going to go ahead and make like a obsidian comma and an obsidian excavator and an obsidian mattock and some of those kinds of tools. So we'll have those waiting for us and ready the next time Zombie Steve and I go out and play. I think that was all I was going to do. Oh, and the all-important sharpening kit. All right. So yeah, we've got stuff now, and the only thing you can't do is you can't put more than one in here. So I will end up with 2 large plate casts, because I know I'll be making multiple large plates for quite some time through the smelter, and I'm probably going to end up with like 2 or 3, or at least, well, maybe just 1 ingot cast. Anyway, I put my spare one in there. All right, and anyway, we will play around a bit more with this, and then go check on the charcoal again. I decided to finish up a few more smeltery tasks before going and checking on the charcoal again. So I went upstairs and got a clay brick to use as an ingot, to use to make the ingot cast. I also, made like a stone large plate, and I made a lot of stone things, and I made a wooden gear to use to make a gear thing. But since we're interested in updating our next thing, I went ahead and crushed some osmium and loaded it up. And I'm going to do 2 things with it. I'm going to make our sharpening kit, which we need for our next harvesting gate. So that will be nice. And then I'm also going to go ahead and make a handle. So right now I've got a wood handle on my pickaxe. And ecological is fine, but I've got so much durability at 1375 on this guy that it doesn't really make much of a dent on it. And I like osmium handles because, as we can see under the handle thing here, it's got a 1.2 modifier, whereas I think, yeah, the wooden tool rod only has a 1 modifier and less durability. So we're going to get a better modifier for overall durability. We're going to get better durability contribution from the rod itself, and we're going to move from ecological to dense and well established, both of which the dense will help us with durability, and well established will start giving us experience as we mine, like the copper does. So I really like osmium tool rods for handles for things. And then I'm also going to go ahead and melt down this alumite shovel head that we got as a reward for the last harvesting level. See how many we get for that. If I recall correctly, shovel head is 2. Let's see, I can probably tell from looking at here. I made a shovel head. Yeah, material cost 2, so we should get 2 ingots out of that, which will allow us to, if I put this away and get out my binding, we're also going to be able to upgrade the binding on our pickaxe to get Global Traveler and teleport anything it mines into a container in our base for us. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now too. Alumite takes a while to break down. And yes, 2 ingots. So I'm not 100% sure yet what I want to do with the second one, but I definitely know I want to spend one of them on this alumite binding. Alright, so that covers a lot of that. I think my flint is upstairs, so let's go upgrade the heck out of our pickaxe and get a new harvesting level. Let's see, so we are going to go boink, and let's go ahead and put in the new thing there. So let's see, we're going from 1375 to now 1665. So that is going to be due to the better modifier on the tool rod, the osmium tool rod. So let's do that. Probably don't need to do it in steps, but I like to see what it does. So this one, we're going to go from 1665 now down to 1341 because the alumite binding has less durability than the slime one. However, we are going to now get Global Traveler on there, which is going to be delightful. So we'll go ahead and do that. And now we're currently fortified for black quartz. We want to grab some flint, because you always have to have flint present when you're doing your sharpening kits. And there, so we're going to go from lead to osmium level. And osmium level will allow us to mine obsidian, and then we'll be up to obsidian level. And once I take in that big a big deposit of obsidian that I've already got planned out, I'll be able to make a bunch of obsidian tools. So now to set it up for Global Traveler, we're going to go over to this nice big chest. You can see there's nothing in it. We're going to shift right click and you'll get the message down at the bottom, linked inventory at blah blah blah. And now, as you can see, there's nothing in it. And yet, if I break that, where'd it go? Boom, it's in there. Super handy. So the next thing I want to do to this pickaxe is make it silk touch. I'll probably have a silk touch on my pickaxe, and then I'm going to make a hammer, make a tinker's hammer, and then make that looting. Alright, so we made some good progress right there. Let me jump over to the coal pit, and it's got to be done now, and if not, I'll just wait until it is. Okay, we ran back over there. I had to make some room in my bags because I knew I'm going to be filling them horribly as we go here. I think that this ash stuff is broken by shovel, not by pickaxe. So if we're really lucky, we'll be able to try out that new Global Traveler and send all of this back to that linked inventory. Unfortunately, I think this is shovel, not pickaxe, but we'll give it a try. So you can see now that all of the wood pile is replaced by ash block. And when we break that, we're going to get ash and charcoal. So let's do our vein miner, and boom, there it goes. And yeah, that's a lot of charcoal. So boom, charcoal. I'm going to put all that in the backpack. And we better open another backpack. And I think we got it all. I'm going to go ahead and dig one down and take a look under here and make sure I got it all. Yep, looks like we got it all. So that's good news. So I'm going to sort of leave this as it is. I doubt I will ever need charcoal again. But I'm going to go ahead and just leave this here, and I'll come up and maybe I'll fill it up one more time in this entire playthrough. But as you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 36 stacks of charcoal. So we should be good for burnables for quite some time. If I'm using some sort of coal burning generator long enough to use that up, then I have obviously failed in my ability to use renewable power and or make it to some sort of nuclear reactor of some sort. But I don't want to say never. I dabbled with this last week before deciding to make this Let's Play and video series and starting over. But it seemed that I was able to get some windmills and some solar power, and I even got a loot reward of I think it was called a nuclear craft RTG, an americium RTG, which is like a nuclear power plant that was fuelless. So we should be good to go. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it all. Might have to make a specific... Well, I'll tell you what, right now I'm not going to worry about it too much. We now have the ability to double our iron ore, which means we're going to have tons of iron, which means we can make compacting drawers from storage drawers, and we can make iron chests, and we can do all sorts of stuff. So things are going to get better now that we have all the iron we could ever want, as long as I stand there and push the button over and over again. All right, so I think I've gone over time. I wanted to try and keep these to 20 to 30 minutes each, but we did accomplish a lot in this episode. I'm feeling pretty happy with how things are going. Next steps, we have been pulling in a lot of those PAMSB apiary stuff, so we've now actually got over a stack of honeycomb, so we're going to get that moving. We now have the ability to do all sorts of smelting stuff, so that is, we're going to go get us some obsidian and do the sharpening kit there, and that will get us all the way to where we need to be to go to the nether. And then we want to start opening up more gates. I want to set up my coke oven and start making coal coke for making steel. Another thing I'm going to do exploration wise, just to possibly save myself some frustration in the nether, I'm going to run over to this desert and see if I can find some cinder pearls, because I'd really like to get some blaze powder and get my blast furnace moving without having to run around the nether looking for a blaze spawner quite yet. So those are the kinds of things we got coming up in future episodes. So I'll sign off now and talk to you next time. Bye.